Hello and welcome to a special edition of Addy Footy Fix on geelongadvertiser.com.au. It is our Bob Davis tribute episode. My name is Nick Wade, and joining me to talk about all things Bob Davis is AFL statistics and historical consultant, Geelong historian. He's the man that knows all the facts about the game. Col Hutchinson. Col, it's great to have you here.
Thank you, Nick.
Now, Col, we could talk all day, I guess, about Bob Davis, and there's been so many fantastic tributes that have been written and said and spoken about Bob in the past 24 hours since his shot passing. Firstly, did it come as a surprise to you, his passing?
Yes, we were all well aware that his health wasn't the best, but we certainly didn't expect a sudden passing.
No, it certainly caught a lot of people by surprise. Now, Cole, you've been following Geelong for 50 years, I guess, and you did catch the tail end of Bobby Davis's football career. What are your earliest memories of Bobby?
Well, my first serious following of Geelong was in 1958, which coincidentally was Bobby's last year. And he really went out on a very, very high note, being All-Australian captain after the 1958 Carnival Series held in Melbourne. But my clearest memories of him are as being a highly adaptable player, because his reputation is as a half-forward flank specialist, using his pace and skill to great advantage in a top team. But in that last season, because of the lack of talented personnel, he was forced to become adaptable. So I witnessed him playing at fullback, as a ruck rover, in the centre, and other positions as well. In fact, he actually played one match as a tap ruckman.
Oh, really?
And made quite a fist of it, even though he was less than the old 6 foot in height.
Exactly.
So it was great memories of him in that period, even though the club didn't have great success.
No, they didn't. And of course, he retired at the end of 58 when I think they claimed the wooden spoon. They had a couple of lean years, but then a year out of the game and he's back in the coaching role. He had some big shoes to fill in the great Reg Hickey, and he started his coaching career in 1960 and really helped turn the club's fortunes around. He recruited some pretty handy footballers, and of course a couple of years later led the Cats to the famous 1963 flag over Hawthorn.
He certainly did. I know that he always stated that he had the opportunity of coaching Geelong immediately after he retired, but he insisted that Reg should be allowed to continue until he wanted to retire, and then took over in 1960. But his ability to see talent in young players was outstanding, and he rarely recruited duds.
No, and Farmer, he got Farmer across from the west. He handpicked John Sam Newman from Geelong Grammar, and of course he built that side that comprised Doug Wade and all the legends of the game, and really helped mould that 1963 premiership side.
He did, and as was stated in the Addy earlier, he had the ability to have players play for him, not in spite of him.
Yep. It's a fantastic tribute that was from Sam Newman, I think it was, saying that as well. And of course, he finished his coaching career and a very seamless transition into the football media. And the way that he joined up with Jack Dyer and Lou Richards and the World of Sport days and, of course, league teams, they really pioneered that irreverent look of football that we see now, don't they? One minute they're talking about football teams and they're handing out recipes and they're having jokes. And how important was that for the way that the football media has transformed itself today?
Oh, vitally important. I think Ron Casey summed it up pretty well. Ron, as you know, anchored World of Sport, but also had heavy involvement off-screen with league teams on the Thursday night. And I remember Ron saying on one occasion that league teams was a unique program in that 5 minutes into the program, it was already 10 minutes behind schedule, and Bobby was largely responsible for that.
He was, for sure. And he continued his media career only up until a few years ago when he was on Grumpy Old Men on Fox Footy. And then was working, still getting some of the anecdotes there. He was on radio as well. And right to the end, we saw in 2009 when he got to hand over the Premiership Cup to Geelong. That was a really significant moment for him in his footy career, and I think he talks about that as being one of his favourite memories.
And it made all Geelong supporters emotional, in addition to winning the match, to see Bobby present that cup.
For sure. And just finally, let's sum up his career in I guess, the numbers and the stats. He played 189 games for Geelong, kicked nearly 150 goals, All-Australian. What are some of the main awards in his career?
Well, he managed only to win one Best and Fairest award, but always finished high up in the count. And I think that was significant. His consistency right through, considering that probably 80% of his career was played at on the half-forward flank.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And he played for Victoria, I think, a dozen times as well.
Yes, that's right.
During the carnivals.
And I don't think he played a poor game in that
No.
situation.
Coached Victoria too, didn't he? In the year that he coached Geelong to a flag.
He did indeed.
And some other things as well later in his career. Hall of Fame in '96, AFL Hall of Fame. Geelong Team of the Century as well.
Yes.
There's not many awards he didn't get, is there?
That's right. One aspect of failing as a coach always appealed to him, and he liked to highlight it, the fact that he's the only coach of Victoria, or was the first coach of Victoria, to guide a losing team at the MCG.
Yeah.
And he always joked about that.
He did. Bobby Skilton reminded him of that a few times, didn't he?
He did indeed.
Exactly. All right, Cole, thanks very much for your time today on what is still a very sad day for the Geelong Football Club and the AFL community in general, the passing of Bobby Davis, aged 82. Rest in peace, Bob, and thanks for watching.